Other than that, Sterling, thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here. How are you, Chad?
I'm doing great. Uh,
Great.
so I know last time we talked, I believe you were on the podcast, absolutely crushed it there. Can you give a quick introduction of who you are as a private practice owner and really a business mogul, and a little bit about what you're doing in the marketplace right now?
Sure, sure. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks, Chad. Hello to everyone out there. I'm Sterling Carter. I was just thinking about this the other day. I've been a licensed physical therapist since 1997. So it's like 27 years. Chad, I think you and I are probably around the same place. Started up in private practice back in 2009, 2010. So it's been about 15 years. Um, and currently have three clinics, but I went a little bit of a different direction because I started up in 2009 and 2011. I started up a physical therapy staffing company, which really kind of morphed into a full healthcare staffing company that grew dramatically. It's been on the Inc. 500 list for the last 4 or 5 years. Then we went on to open up, and I say we because I have a twin brother who joined me, and we opened up a hospice company. We opened up a home health software app, it's kind of a tech company. And then we also created a business consulting firm called Carter Brothers Consulting, based on our book, because we wrote a book called Double Your Success: Principles to Build a Multi-Million-Dollar Business. And we just talked about the principles that we learned in growing all of the businesses that we have. So it's been a fun ride. Also, prior military, I spent 25 years in the Army Reserve. So I served as a physical therapist there as well, and been all over the world and served in three different operations across the country. So that's my
Love
story.
it. Cool, man. Yeah, thank you for that intro. Oh, and you were in Forbes, right?
Yes, yes. So it's in Forbes. The book that we wrote was actually sponsored by Forbes. Forbes has their own book line, and so we've been in their magazine, been on TV, all that kind of good stuff. So it's been a fun ride.
Yeah,
We
love
also
it.
started up a not-for-profit called the Young Millionaires Series, and so we teach young kids how to start up their own business and become millionaires.
Love it. Very active, amazing business acumen. That's what I think is most important here that everybody understands. And today we're talking about how to increase your revenue per visit. So
Yes.
you're in the great state of Texas. Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen happen over the last 15 years with revenue per visit as your costs have gone up, and what's happening with your reimbursements, and how you're thinking about changing that? Because I know you went through the Profitability Under Pressure program, amongst some other things here at Breakthrough, and just what you were struggling with and how you thought about solving that because you have a great business mind.
Yeah, so I mean, so much there, right? We're in Texas, so we have limited direct access where we can see a patient for 10 business days without a referral. But after that, we have to have a referral. So we're still kind of stuck with our primary care physicians. Chad, as you were saying, in the last 15 years, we've seen dramatic changes. It used to be where there was not a Medicare cap, and you could see a patient as long as you wanted to, and reimbursement rates were actually higher then than they are now. What we've seen is a consistent decline in our rates and in our costs, and our costs have increased. Our rates have gone down. But our patients are demanding more, right? They want better care. They want more time. They want to be seen by primarily DPTs. And so we're in this conundrum. And we, as physical therapists in our profession, we have to figure this out so that we can continue to survive, because if not, we're in trouble. So one of the things that I did, I've actually been following Chad for a long period of time and seeing him at the private practice conferences and that kind of thing, and kind of loved his concept. And I remember one day talking to him. I don't know if you remember this conversation, but I was just talking to him about EMRs. I think it was about EMRs and revenue per visit, and we just had it for a short period of time. And I decided to go ahead and sign up for the Profitability Under Pressure course. That course was absolutely amazing. Learned so much. I could go into a bunch of details, but I know we're focused on increasing revenue per visit. So the first thing that I did was I did analysis to see who is my lowest payers, and which is I kind of knew and it was pretty easy to see, but right now in Texas, Cigna, United Healthcare, and probably Humana are our lowest payers. And what we learned in profitability under pressure is that despite our fears, because most of us think that you can't negotiate your rates, and so we don't even try. You actually can't. And so what we did is we put together a letter, a template letter that we received from Profitability Under Pressure, and we basically outlined what we've been doing, how many patients we've served, how our expenses have increased, despite the fact that their reimbursement rates have decreased. And we asked for more. We asked for significantly more because like asked for the stars. And if we end up somewhere around the moon, then that's great. So I think the first one we were able to get a rate increase was on I can't even get it. UHC, United Healthcare. United Healthcare had a capped rate of 65. I asked for 95. They gave us 70, but that was our lowest payer. And if you guys can imagine, $5 extra per visit adds up pretty quick. With Cigna, it was $70 was the capped daily rate, and we were able to get it up to 80. So that was significant as well. And then our last one was Humana, and Humana has just standard rates per CPT code, and we asked for a 20% increase across the board. We're still waiting to hear back from them. So what we saw almost overnight is started seeing an increase in our average revenue per visit over time. Just as we because we see so many Cigna and United Healthcare patients, it almost automatically increased our bottom line. Um, that was the first step. I think the next probably big step was incorporating cash programs, wellness programs, and we really kind of went all in. So I'll show you guys an example. This little postcard is called Add-on Services, and what we do is we have laser therapy, we do shockwave, we do dry needling, assisted stretch therapy, and spinal decompression. And my thought process was our average value per patient is about $1,000 per patient. And so I was thinking if we could increase that by 10%, the overall value of that patient experience, then that's pretty good, right? So if we can get a 10% increase across the board, then that's a 10% increase on our bottom line or our net profit margin. So we were really conservative. So what we did is we offered packages. And so our packages start at 6 sessions, and we do 6 sessions for $108 for laser, 6 sessions for $108 for shockwave, and then we have memberships. For massage is $79 a month, and they can get like 2 30-minute massage sessions. And our goal is that 25% of our patients, new patients that come in the door, sign up for one of those packages. And so we're doing pretty good with that. We're probably around 10 to 15%. We're still pushing to get up there to 25%. But between increasing our rates on insurance and also adding in cash services and wellness programs, it's been significant. The other thing that we learned in Profit Under Pressure is looking at our codes, our CPT codes. What are we using? What are our therapists using? How many units are they actually coding per visit? It's one thing for us to tell them to code 4 units or recommend it. It's another thing to actually see what's really going on. And so what we found is that we weren't maximizing on the CPT codes that could be utilized. What we've learned and what I've learned over these years is that when you're looking at CPT codes, it's really more of an art and not a science. So a lot of things can be coded as therapeutic exercise, or it could be coded as neuromuscular rehab. Manual therapy could be coded as neuromuscular rehab. Therapeutic activities, doing different things. And one thing that you may think is a therapeutic exercise could actually be coded as as therapeutic activity. What that re results in is an increase in your rates because TA may pay a little bit higher than TE, and neuromuscular rehab also pays definitely higher than manual therapy. So all those things and probably more. I've been talking for a while.
Yeah, that's great. So you went through the process, you did the profit leak audit, you did the pro forma, which I'm sure you've done before
Hmm.
in this career. You strategized, you just gave three business strategies of the multiple ones that we went over in profitability under pressure. What's the end result for you? How's it improved your practice?
Oh man, it's been crazy. I think we were averaging right around $97 per visit, and right now we're ranging between 110 and 120, and I think it's because of the deductibles and that kind of thing. But we've seen a 15-20% jump in
That's
our per visit rate. Not only that, but there were so many other things we learned, like how to increase our visits per discharge. So we were averaging around 10 visits that we were seeing, hence that value of $1,000. Well, we're pushing to try to get to 15 visits for each one of our patient episodes. So right now we're around 12. So all these little small things over time, it just ends up increasing your revenue significantly.
Yeah, I love it. So we have a question here from Lynn. Lynn, what Sterling is referring to is that I believe we were in PPS together, which you were referencing earlier. I
Yes.
remember the space where we were at in the room, and we spoke there. But yeah, you're referring to this. You did this for your practice. We have a template in
Yes.
here where you can go through. I know Lynn, earlier, Lauren mentioned you can email her for to get a copy of that or get information on that. Other questions that we had from Monica, are the patients informed about the packages, the cash-based packages that you have, the add-on packages during their first eval, or what does that look like?
Great question. So we have a patient plan of care. So we have the plan of care we send to the doctor. We have a patient plan of care. And what we do is we go through the evaluation. We're really, really big on asking the patient, what are your goals and what do you want from therapy? And then we fill out this plan of care, and it starts with their wants and needs. And we talk about how we're going to approach those goals. We talk about what we found in the evaluation, which is really kind of the problem list. And then we talk about, or we check off what treatments we're going to do in order to take care of that issue. And then right below that is this section called add-ons. And so what we do is we check the things that we recommend that would help to expedite their care. And then at the bottom of that, we actually have it's a promise that we do as the therapist, saying that we'll provide excellent customer care, we'll be here for you each and every time. We ask them to promise that they're going to come into therapy, that they're going to do their home exercises, and it's just this really kind of mental kind of a change, dynamic change there. But at the end of the day, we give them that form. That's for them to keep so they know what their plan is. They could take it to the front and they take it from there. They just give it to our patient care coordinators, and they'll say, okay, we need to sign you up for our laser package. These are our prices. And it's just pretty simple. And then if we don't catch them on the first visit, with that, we always offer a free trial. So we'll do a free laser trial on the second visit. Chad knows that we use I can't even think of the method right now, the bocce method,
Gotcha. Yeah.
bocce method, where we try a session without the modality, and then we add it in, and we allow the patient to make a decision on which one they like better. And so everyone always loves, especially with laser, because you get the almost immediate pain relief. They're going to go with the laser every time, and the price point is low enough where it's an easy sell.
Yeah. I see, and thanks for that answer. Diana and Danielle asked something about who gives the massages. Do you have a massage therapist on staff?
We do. We do. We hired on a medical massage therapist, and it's actually been pretty amazing. It's a great adjunct. We can incentivize. So if we have someone that's on the fence about coming in for physical therapy, we'll say, hey, why don't you just come in for a free massage, and we can just kind of go from there. So it's kind of a bait for us to help get some patients over the fence. That's cool.
Great. The Hayden asked, what is your practice size? You have 10 clinicians?
10 clinicians, 3 clinics. Uh, yeah, we're right around, I guess, 2 million in revenue. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Cool. Courtney, you don't have to answer this one, but how many clients do your therapists see per hour or maybe per week? If you want to give an idea on like output or whatever.
Yeah, so it ranges. So we have PTAs and we have PTs. We do 45-minute sessions. Our therapists, if they're doing evaluations, it's one-on-one. Medicare is one-on-one, but our kind of private was it this CMS, AMA, or AMA healthcare, private healthcare patients we usually double up. So
Very fair. Great. Charles asked, what's the optimal target for a package price? Do you have a target or is it based on what the therapist recommends or however you want to share that?
So yeah, so we do the kind of a well, let me say this. We have played around with the price. And I think that's what you would need to do because based on your market, demographics, income, it's just gonna vary. We started off at a higher price point where we were around $50. And what my therapists were telling me is that it was a little bit harder to sell. So we always had the package deal, and the package always offers a decreased price. But what we found was that if we make it a little bit lower, it's an easier sell. And so my therapist asked for that. So now, right now, we're running it super cheap, but I really think we're going to probably double that amount in the near future because it really hasn't been a significant change in the volume. It's been a slight uptick, but it's you got to sell a whole lot more when you're at that price point.
Great. This is a really good question for Kay for us to wrap up on. But the question is, how do you get your clinicians to buy into selling the add-on services? And what I would love for you to do, Sterling, is we all have that like I'm a manual therapist. I was very resistant to looking at any other treatment technologies until about 2017 when I met Mark and the rest of the group at an event, but and had been treated myself. Can you talk about maybe having a clinician who was like a little like, oh, I'm not going to recommend that, and then how you worked with them so now that they're doing well and able to present your packages to patients that are coming through.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess a couple of things. One, it really made so we have the laser unit with Innovus. And Alexandra Lacey, who's our rep here I'm in Texas in Houston area, she came out and she did the demo, she gave the demonstrations, and it was really, really important for her to do the treatment on each one of the therapists so that they could feel it and just express the difference. And so that really, really helps with the buy-in. So if your therapists haven't tried it, number one, they got to try it. Number two, we talked about it earlier, the Bachi method, because one, we're going to give them a free laser session. So then the patient gets to feel what it's like. And then we really give them a choice. And so it makes the sell process a little bit easier for our therapists. So they're not pushing and saying, hey, buy this, buy this. We'll give them a free session and say, here's a laser treatment. And then we'll do a session without the laser. We just ask them which one they like better. The other thing is the plan of care that we're doing. It really helps because all the therapists are doing is just checking off what they recommend. And really just that alone, as doctors, we're saying, okay, this is what you need, and they're gonna get it. And so we're not talking price in the back. That goes to the front with the receptionist.
Love it. Sterling, thank you so much for doing this. How about some love for Sterling in the chat? Appreciate everything you're doing in private practice, man.
Thank you. See you guys. See you in Denver.
Yeah,
Take
see you in Denver. Yeah.